Hi there. This is Suzanne Edwards again with another one of my talks about mental health. And last few days have been kind of hectic for me. I'm trying to get back into a day program, and so far things look promising. And my medications are still doing well. I'm now on trazodone, which will help me toward improving my sleep patterns because I don't need to be on Seroquel anymore. I'm lowering my Seroquel dosages, and I'm trying to wean myself off of Ativan as well because that's an addictive drug. And I don't want to be addicted to anything. In some instances, medications are very necessary. A lot of instances, they're very necessary just to make it through the day. There's a lot of people like me who can't do without their medications because if you do without your medications, then you go through withdrawals and you get sick again, and you run the risk of being hospitalized again. It's a shame that people have to be, some folks like me who've battled mental illness all our lives, we have to be on medications just to function. It's a shame, but it is what it is. If there was a magic pill that could take everything away at once, then I'd go for it right then. But there's no magic pill. There's got to be treatment, medications, whatever needs to be done to treat this. Because this is something that's a lifelong thing. Like I said in an earlier video, you're not your illness. It shouldn't define you, but it is what it is. And you'll have to forgive me for talking weird because I don't have my partial in at the moment. But it is what it is. Mental illness is very real. I've had family members that have battled this in the past. I had two great aunts that weren't well. And my grandfather suffered from two mental breakdowns before he died. And I was first diagnosed in 2001. Since my first video, I've undergone another hospitalization, which put me at 17. And I pray that that will be my last hospitalization. Because psych wards aren't fun. No aspect of mental illness is fun. Unless you're a real masochist and decide that everything is fun that makes you hurt. It's not fun. It can be trying. It can be a pain in the rear end. And some days, you have to struggle just to make it through the day. But things can get easier. My advice, stay on your meds, keep seeing your doctor. If you're part of a group, go to your groups, see your therapist, and get the help and the treatment you need. And for those of you who have difficulty getting the help that you need, reach out. Find a way to reach out to somebody that can help you. In rural areas in particular, more needs to be done for those who are mentally ill. I grew up in a little town called Andrews, North Carolina. And there are times when I had to go out of town, in one case out of state, to see a psychiatrist in Gainesville, Georgia, just to get the psychiatric services I needed. I went to a therapy group and saw a therapist at a mental health place in Marble, North Carolina. But that and the psychiatrist in Gainesville, North Carolina were enough for me to get the help that I needed. As I said in my first video, when I was first hospitalized in 2001, my initial diagnosis was schizoaffective. And some years later, 2008, I got my first diagnosis of bipolar. And also, as I said in the first video, I wasn't on the meds I needed to be on, especially during my marriage. And that was partly because I was pregnant with my son. And even after I had my son, it wasn't until I left my marriage I finally started the process of getting my son adopted that I started getting the help I needed. I started taking a good amount of medications, and my diagnoses were bipolar disorder with PTSD added on because of my marriage, since I was in an abusive marriage anyway. And some years later, when I came to a facility here in Wilkes County, which is a facility I'd stayed at before, but which has since closed down, I started getting more treatment. But unfortunately, I was on lithium at the time, and I almost died of lithium poisoning in 2015. I no longer take lithium. My psychiatric medications include Lamictal, Latuda, Zyprexa, Depakote. Trazodone help me sleep, and until I get weaned off of them totally, Seroquel and Ativan. I see a psychotherapist. I see a psychiatrist to help me with med management. I go to a group every Tuesday, a dialectical behavior therapy group. Now, I'm about to join a day program pretty soon in a PSR group. And things are looking hopeful toward me going back to that program. And right now things are looking up. I'm feeling pretty damn good about things right now. But even so, the conversation needs to continue. More needs to be done about mental health, especially in rural areas. And there's homeless people that have mental illness that need the services. And there's some folks, like I've said before, whether you're homeless or not, whether you're in a rural area or not, whether you're in a facility or not, or whatever, some feel like they can't get the services they need. And some feel hopeless and sad because of it. I just want y'all to know that there is hope, that things can be done toward this issue. And the conversation is going to continue no matter what. That's all I have to say.